You stare at your lab results again, your fingers tremble, hoping maybe this time the numbers have improved. But your creatinine is still climbing, your GFR is still dropping, and suddenly the food on your plate feels less like nourishment and more like a silent threat. It's terrifying to know that one wrong bite could push you one step closer to dialysis. Here's the truth: no one tells you you are not powerless. Every meal you choose is a decision between speeding up the damage or giving your kidneys a moment to breathe. And that choice, as small as it may seem, can change everything. I'm Dr. Johnny, and after 15 years of treating chronic kidney disease, I've watched food turn into a battlefield, loaded with fear, confusion, and doubt. But I've also seen patients take back control, lower their creatinine, and finally feel safe at the dinner table again. And today, I'm not here to talk about expensive health trends or exotic superfoods. I'm going to show you 3 simple, everyday types of rice that have saved meals, saved lives, and, for some people, even delayed dialysis. The first one is so surprisingly safe, so gentle, and so familiar that once you understand what it does and what it doesn't do, you'll never look at your rice bowl the same way again. White basmati rice might sound ordinary until you realize how extraordinary it can be for your kidneys. When you're living with CKD, every grain of rice you eat can either be helping you or silently hurting you. Unlike sticky short grain or nutrient-packed brown rice, white basmati is naturally low in both phosphorus and potassium, just 35 milligrams of phosphorus and 55 milligrams of potassium per half cup cooked. That's a game changer when your lab results start showing creeping phosphorus or potassium levels that threaten to push you closer to dialysis. But here's the real magic. It's not just what basmati rice gives you. It's what it doesn't. It doesn't spike your blood sugar like most white rice. It doesn't leave you bloated, foggy, or inflamed. Its long, slender grains break down gently, making it easier to digest and kinder to your blood vessels. For people juggling CKD and diabetes, this isn't just food, it's strategy. According to the American Diabetes Association, patients who keep their blood sugar stable after meals slow kidney decline by up to 40% compared to those who don't. That's not hype. That's survival. Take Maria, a 61-year-old teacher in stage 3 CKD. She thought she was eating healthy by loading up on brown rice every day, but her creatinine jumped from 1.66 to 2.1 in just 4 months. We swapped her to properly prepared white basmati rinsed until the water ran clear, soaked for at least 30 minutes, then boiled and drained like pasta to remove extra minerals and trace arsenic. 6 months later, her creatinine stabilized at 1. Her digestion improved, and she told me, "For the first time in months, I enjoyed a meal without feeling like it might kill me." If your phosphorus and potassium are stable, you can enjoy white basmati up to 4 times a week in stages 1 to 3, 2 to 3 times in stage 4, and once a week on dialysis, always paired with low potassium vegetables like zucchini or cabbage, and clean proteins like egg whites or white fish. It's not just nourishment, it's emotional safety on a plate. And while white basmati can be a turning point for so many, what happens if even gentle foods feel heavy? What if every bite is a chore? Your appetite is gone, and eating feels like work instead of comfort. That's when you need a different kind of rice, one that doesn't just protect your kidneys, but helps you want to eat again. But sometimes, the challenge isn't just finding a kidney-safe food, it's finding a food you can actually bear to eat. When appetite fades, when every bite feels like lifting a weight, even the safest options lose their meaning. That's where Japonica white rice steps in. Short, tender, and slightly sticky after cooking. This rice glides down effortlessly, no scratching, no heaviness, no fight with every chew. For someone battling CKD, fatigue, or the side effects of medication, that soft texture can mean the difference between skipping another meal and finally getting some nourishment. Nutritionally, Japonica still keeps your kidneys in the safe zone, about 38 milligrams of phosphorus, and 50 milligrams of potassium per half cup cooked. It's gentle on your gut, less likely to cause bloating or inflammation compared to brown, red, or wild rice. And that matters. Because gut inflammation doesn't just make you uncomfortable, it increases toxin buildup in your blood, putting even more strain on kidneys already working overtime. Robert, a 58-year-old carpenter with stage 3 CKD, came to me after losing nearly 15 pounds in just 3 months. His albumin was dropping dangerously low, not because he didn't want to eat, but because everything he tried made him feel worse. We introduced Japonica white rice, gently steamed with peeled zucchini and a drizzle of olive oil. It was the first food in months that didn't fight him back. 4 months later, he'd regained 8 pounds. His energy was back, and his labs had stabilized. He told me quietly, "I didn't know eating could feel this easy again." To keep it safe, rinse Japonica until the water runs clear. Soak it for at least 30 minutes. Then use the boil and drain method if your CKD is advanced. Avoid pairing it with high-sodium sauces, tomato-heavy stews, or salty broths unless your labs are tightly monitored. If your eGFR is 45/60, you can enjoy half-cup servings up to 4 times a week. If you're under 30 eGFR, cut back to twice a week and keep portions small. Japonica brings dignity back to eating. It nourishes without punishing. So mealtime becomes something to look forward to instead of something to survive. But what happens when even soft, comforting foods still carry too much for your kidneys to handle? When every nutrient feels like it has a price your body can't afford? That's when we turn to a rice so unique it barely counts as food at all. Yet it delivers something priceless: the freedom to eat without fear. When your kidneys are in the late stages of CKD, the rules change completely. It's no longer about eating healthy in a general sense. It's about eating with surgical precision. One slip in potassium or phosphorus, one spike in blood sugar, and you feel the consequences almost immediately. That's why for my stage 4 and stage 5 patients, there's one option that changes everything: Shirataki rice. It looks like rice, it feels like rice, but nutritionally, it's almost nothing. No significant calories, no protein, no carbs, no phosphorus, and nearly zero potassium. It's the closest thing to guilt-free comfort food you can put on your plate when your kidneys can't handle any more strain. The secret lies in its source: konjac root. It's packed with glucomannan, a natural soluble fiber that slows digestion, keeps blood sugar stable, and feeds the good bacteria in your gut. Why does that matter? Because every blood sugar spike, every burst of insulin resistance, sends a wave of inflammation through your body, and inflammation is the enemy of your kidneys. Patricia, a 52-year-old nurse with stage 5 CKD, was weeks away from starting dialysis when she told me she'd already said goodbye to rice. It wasn't just a food to her, it was a piece of her culture, her family, her identity. We swapped her usual starch for Shirataki rice, lightly boiled with cabbage, fresh ginger, and a drizzle of olive oil. Her phosphorus stayed stable. Her bloating disappeared, and for the first time in months, she smiled at her dinner plate. "This isn't just food," she told me. "It's freedom." To prepare it safely, rinse Shirataki under warm water for 1 to 2 minutes to remove its natural aroma, then boil it for 2 to 3 minutes to soften the texture and lower any bacterial risk critical for CKD patients with weakened immune systems. Never store it longer than 24 hours. It's not a traditional starch, and its fiber can ferment if left too long. Pair it with low-potassium vegetables like zucchini or bell peppers, and low-phosphorus proteins like egg whites, soft tofu, or grilled white fish. Shirataki works across all stages, but it's a lifeline for those dealing with high urea, protein in the urine, or phosphorus overload. It doesn't raise blood pressure, doesn't disrupt fluid balance, and doesn't add to metabolic acidosis. It simply gives you volume, satisfaction, and peace of mind. Some foods nourish your body, others nourish your hope. Shirataki does both. And when you realize you can enjoy a full plate without adding pressure to your kidneys, it changes the way you think about eating forever. And now that you've seen the difference between danger and safety on your plate, let's bring it all together, because this isn't just about rice. It's about taking back control in a body that's been fighting you every single day. We've covered 3 very different kinds of rice, each one a lifeline for a different stage of your kidney journey. Basmati, the steady ally that keeps your labs stable and your digestion calm. Japonica, the gentle comfort that restores your appetite and strength when eating feels impossible. And Shirataki, the fearless choice that gives you the freedom to enjoy a full plate without adding weight to your kidneys. Together, they prove one thing: this isn't about giving up food you love. It's about choosing the right version of it, at the right time, for the right reason. And that shift in perspective can change not just your meals, but your entire future. Your kidneys are not just numbers on a lab sheet. They're life-sustaining filters that work quietly, day and night, cleaning your blood, balancing your fluids, and protecting you from a toxic overload you can't see. When they start to weaken, every choice you make, from the food you eat to the way you prepare it, becomes part of your treatment. Today, we explored 3 kinds of rice that can transform the way you approach eating with CKD. White Basmati rice, the familiar comfort that keeps phosphorus, potassium, and blood sugar in check. Japonica white rice, the soft, nourishing option that can bring back your appetite and help you rebuild your strength when eating feels like a battle. And Shirataki rice, the virtually nutrient-free solution that offers the joy of a full plate without adding strain to your kidneys, especially in the late stages. But here's the bigger truth: food is not the enemy. Fear is. When you live in constant fear of what's on your plate, you lose not only the pleasure of eating, but also the emotional resilience you need to fight this disease. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Small, consistent changes have far more impact than unsustainable extremes. So here's what I want you to do starting today. First, you should review your latest lab results. Look closely at your creatinine, GFR, potassium, phosphorus, and albumin. Let those numbers guide your decisions instead of random internet advice or generic healthy eating rules. If you're unsure how to interpret them, take this video with you to your next appointment with your nephrologist or renal dietitian. Show them the options we discussed and ask how they can fit into your unique plan. Second, pay attention to how you feel after eating, not just physically, but emotionally. Do certain meals leave you feeling sluggish, bloated, or anxious? Do others make you feel light, satisfied, and in control? Your body is speaking to you, and part of protecting your kidneys is learning how to listen. Third, keep your meals balanced. Even the safest rice works best when paired with kidney-friendly vegetables and low-phosphorus proteins. Avoid processed foods, canned items, and high-sodium sauces that undo the benefits of your careful choices. Cooking at home as much as possible will give you control over what actually goes into your food. And finally, don't walk this path alone. Kidney disease can feel isolating, but there's a growing community of people right here who understand exactly what you're going through. We share experiences, solutions, and the encouragement you need to keep moving forward, even on the hardest days. If this video helped you feel less afraid, more informed, or more hopeful, save it now so you can come back to it whenever you need a reminder. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest evidence-based advice for protecting your kidneys. Every week, I share practical tips on nutrition, lifestyle, and self-care that can slow CKD progression, lower creatinine, and help you avoid dialysis for as long as possible. And please share this video with someone you care about who may be silently struggling with kidney disease. You never know, this might be the message that gives them hope, or the information that changes their health for the better. Above all, remember this: you are not powerless. Your next meal can be one more step toward healing, and every small, thoughtful choice you make is an investment in your future, one that your kidneys will thank you for every single day.